Hey everyone, so today I'm going to do another D&D Get Ready With Me. Today I'm going to talk about my Heliana's campaign, which has been going on for a while now, so I have a lot of content. I don't know how much of it I'm going to get through today, but we'll see. It's Valentine's Day today when I'm filming this. You won't see this on Valentine's Day, but I think I'm going to do a pink look, which I know is very passe, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've been doing a lot of Valentine's looks lately, but I don't know. We're going to do Valentine's Day stuff today, and by Valentine's Day stuff, I mean we're just gonna go to a coffee shop and get Valentine's Day themed coffee, because I'm a sucker for strawberry chocolate coffee, so that's what we're doing today. Nothing fancy, because we're still broke, but so we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna try to be better about telling you what I'm doing for makeup, but it's mostly gonna be story time. And also, as you can see, I got a better setup since my last one, so hopefully this all looks better. You can actually see me now, as opposed to the setup I had over here where it was like the horrible angle. So that's better. Also, since I've been doing other videos where I was a bit blown out, hopefully I'm less blown out. I actually got rid of the ring light and it's just a tripod and I'm just using my vanity lights, which are pretty bright. So hopefully that's a little better. We're just experimenting, trying to figure this out. So yeah, today I'm thinking of using this Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. I don't support Huda Beauty right now, but I have this palette and I want to use it because it's in my collection and it's a pink palette. As you can see, pink. It works well with my skin tone, so I'm gonna use it today. Basically what I'm thinking is I'm going to take this shade, this shade, this shade, probably this shade, maybe this shade. Nothing fancy. Just like a quick pink look. Really basic. I might, depending on how I feel, I might break into the Basic Witch palette and do this pink shade, because this pink shade is really pretty. And I've been using this a lot, and it goes really well with this palette, actually. And as you can see, there's pinks in here too, but these are a little more pink. And I was debating between these two, but I've been using this palette a lot, and I want to bust into this palette because I haven't used it as much. And I've heard that these shades go bad after a few years, and I've had this palette for, I think I've had it since 2024, 2025, beginning of. I think I got it. I know I got it around Valentine's Day one year because I was in the mood for some pinks, so, and I got it before Basic Witch. So yeah, let's get started. I'm just gonna prime my eyes. Urban Decay Potion Primer. Oh, before I do that, actually, I need to do Fenty Lip Oil, Miss Jellyfish. I need to put that on my lips because my lips are constantly dehydrated. So a little bit of purple sparkles. Okay, so do that and do this. So basically, for Heliana's, my character is, I did one of the new character classes, which is based on Pokemon, which is super fun. So basically the character class is you get monsters, like you start with a basic beast of your choosing. So I started with a panther, just a basic beast class panther, as my basic Pokemon, which we altered it a little bit to make it more usable, and to make it fit the rules a bit, because it didn't quite fit the rules for the Monster Tamer class. But I wanted a panther because my character is based on James from Team Rocket. Like, that's literally who I'm playing. I'm role-playing as James from Team Rocket. So I'm playing that, and I'm the only one who's playing as anything Pokemon, just as an aside. I was really leaning into the Pokemon. So we did that, and basically you start out as getting one Pokemon to start. So that is the Pokemon I picked. He cannot talk, unfortunately. You can speak telepathically to your Pokemon, but it's not the same, unfortunately. You basically just know things, like you can see and hear through your Pokemon, like you can through any familiar. It basically functions similarly to a familiar, except it also functions similar to how druids have, like, ads, basically. How you can send out, like, meat shields, but they attack. So it's kind of like that. It's like a half druid ad, half familiar kind of thing. So I'm just gonna take that lightest pink shade and put it in my crease. So yeah, so I'm doing that. One of my friends was playing a monk. He recently literally just switched classes because he basically said he got all he wanted out of the monk class, but he was playing the monk for a while, which was fun. He got it to the point where he can grapple from like 30 feet away and just like auto grapples and was like throwing stuff around. It was fun. It was like hitting things like 5 times or some shit. It was wild. So we had some fun with that. Like at one point we were in a room, we were fighting at one point because the whole point of this campaign is it's basically Monster Hunter the game, right? It's literally based on Monster Hunter the game. So you go out and you fight monsters to get their parts. You have to harvest their parts, and you can craft stuff. Like there's a whole new crafting system with this. So you craft stuff with their parts. And we wanted to build a bag of holding. And to build a bag of holding, you need aberration parts. So we went out and fought aberrations, and our DM was like, okay, so you're gonna fight gibbering maws, which in hindsight was a terrible idea because we are level 4s, and gibbering maws have this ability where if you don't roll good, like if you roll bad against their attack, this like innate ability they have, you will turn into a gibbering maw, and the only way to cure it is if basically, I forget what the other way is, but you have to have greater restoration, which is a spell. And we're too low level to have greater restoration, like, so no one in the party has it. Our monk and my Pokemon rolled badly and got this, it's not a disease, like, it's just a thing that happens because the gibbering maw warps reality around you, and now you are just becoming a gibbering maw. The Pokemon was kind of whatever because you can get new Pokemon. It was long since time for me to release that Pokemon because that Pokemon was my starter Pokemon. It was my Meowth Pokemon, my Panther. And the way the Pokemon works is that base Pokemon, it can only do the basic attack. Whereas if you get Pokemon that are built by Biomancers, which is something that was introduced with this campaign, they have special attacks, kind of like Pokemon do. Basically, it was time for me to build new Pokemon. So it was kind of just a way to force me to build new Pokemon. So basically, we're fighting these gibbering maw, and what I was going to say was the monk. Okay, so I'm gonna take that darker pink shade and I'm gonna put it in deeper into my crease. So the monk grappled the biggest gibbering maw, because there was multiple sizes of them, grappled the biggest gibbering maw, shoved it into a crevasse, like, because there was just like a big like hole in the ground in between 2 parts of this cave, shoved it into the ground and just stomped it in, because why not? So he did that, and that's how we defeated it. We just stomped on it. Anyway, so he got the sickness, and we had to go find, there's a wizard in this campaign that like we met previously doing other stuff, and we were like, do you have a cure for this? And he was like, yeah, I have a spell, but the problem with the spell scroll is you have to roll on the spell scroll, and you can fail the roll. So like there's a chance we fail the roll and that party member just becomes a gibbering maw. And when you become a gibbering maw, you're an aberration. You can't control yourself anymore. You basically want to murder the party, so the party would have to murder you. And you would lose that character. That character essentially dies and you have to make a new character. So we rolled on the scroll, and thankfully we used the party member that had the best roll, which is our druid. We have a druid, and he's I forget what he is. He's like some sort of like sea giant, which is ridiculous. He is our party member who builds characters that are the most broken. So he happened to have like the best skill set to roll this, and he just barely made it. Like he just barely made it. So we were able to save him, but it cost us like most of our gold. Like we had a ton of gold because we just like randomly found a room that was like, God, it was like 1,000 silver or something, and we were just like, how are we carrying all this? We don't know. We're just gonna just say we can carry it all because whatever. We don't have an economy. There's no economy in this game we're playing. Like, we're shipwrecked on an island. Like, that's the story. We shipwreck on an island and we're trying to figure out what happened to the colony that went there before us. Like, we're the rescue party and we get shipwrecked there. So there's no economy on this island until we eventually find there is like a town we find, but their inhabitants are mushroom people it was the town we went to find, but it's all people who died and were resurrected by mushroom people, by this guy called the Pale King, who is like a mycelium guy, I think. I don't know. We recently just found out he might be orchestrating taking like that dark red shade down, also putting that in my crease. But we found out he might be orchestrating some of the shit down under, because like the part of the overarching story is that there is a thing under the ground, like an ancient being that has awoken and it's causing chaos. And we've gotten to the point in the story where we found out like this guy who gave us property in the kingdom, the skeleton kingdom, because there's like underneath the continent there is a whole city of skeleton people. Ashatan. It's called Ashatan, and it's where the skeleton people live. And there's a civil war going on. And we found out that maybe that this mushroom guy might be part of the reason that there is a civil war going on. And he might be part of the reason that the ancient evil has awoken. And we've been helping him. So it's kind of like that gif of, oh no, are we the baddies? But not really, because, I mean, we did the part of the story where we killed the other evil mushroom lady, because she was like coming to the surface with her mushroom people, and her mushroom people are different because they can't go in the sun, but we killed her. He was like, yay, I'll give you land in Ashatan, which was weird because we didn't know he was involved with the skeleton people. I now have, I'm putting that darker red shade in my outer corner, I now have, since my main Pokemon that I used was out of commission, turned into an aberration. I gave, basically what I did was, story-wise, I gave him to a Biomancer to try to fix, but basically I'm never getting him back. It was basically just me releasing him into the wild, and I got 2 new ones because I'm at a level where I can have 2. And I had another one before, but I never used it because it was a mushroom dude, and I can't use him in the sunlight because he's allergic to sun. And he just had help actions. He wasn't very useful. And I can only have 1 Pokemon out at once, which is really annoying, so he wasn't, like, helpful to me. Especially because, like, I don't know, he just wasn't the most useful. He wasn't useful to our playstyle, which I discovered when I pulled him out and tried to use him and realized he wasn't useful. I now have a Dire Rabbit, which is based on Monty Python, funnily enough. It actually didn't come from Heliana's, it came from Ryoku's Guide, which is the second book of Heliana's, which is based on kaiju fighting, giant monster fighting. And we're incorporating that into that session, which I think the next session we play, we're going to start Ryoku's Guide stuff. And basically we're using it as a means of training to fight the big bad that was introduced with the Heliana's Guide stuff. So we're gonna go fight kaijus. Like, our DM told us that there's like this thing, there's like a grappling arm, so you can grapple up onto the kaiju. And I was just like, what, can I give my Pokemon that? Can they like grapple up onto the kaiju? But yeah, so I've got the Dire Rabbit, and he's pretty cool. Like, his flaw is if there are any bones anywhere and he's out, he is immediately drawn to the bones. And I have to do a wisdom saving check for him to see if I can command him to leave the bones alone. And if he fails the wisdom saving check, he ignores me and goes after the bones to his detriment. Like, even if like he gets attacked. So immediately, the first thing we do after I get him, there are bones on the ground. And the friend who helped me, who sent me the PDF of this, who was reading this with me and helping the DM set it up, was like, oh no, is it out? And I'm like, yeah. So basically, I had to roll for him. Unfortunately, I rolled fine, which was good because the bones on the ground were two people from Ashatan, the Skeleton Kingdom, who were pretending to play dead. So if my dire rabbit had attacked them, that probably wouldn't have gone over well because they ended up being friendly and gave us information. They're the ones that told us that the Pale King was involved with the Civil War. So it was basically a way for the DM to info dump on us. I'm deciding what shimmer I want to use. I should probably use the shimmers in this palette because this palette is the one that's going bad. I don't know what shimmer. Let's use the pretty iridescent shimmer. Moon Magic. Okay, so basically I've got that, and then the other Pokemon I made is also a helper Pokemon, but it's a better helper Pokemon. It doesn't have an allergy to the sun. It's like I forget what it is, but it's basically, it has eye attacks, like laser beam attacks, and it has like a helping ray and it has hindrance rays. And it basically just sits in the back of the party and like it's basically crowd control. So I've got that, which is fun. And then my character, I have it set up so I basically have a crossbow, which I have a cantrip added to make the crossbow hit harder. I also have a +1 bow, which the crafting system in this is interesting. So, because I crafted a +1 crossbow, and the way the crafting system works is you roll to craft, like everybody in the party, the crafting is based on your proficiencies and skills. And none of us realized that when we set up our characters. So none of us are particularly proficient in crafting weapons or items or doing the enchanting at all. Only our druid is proficient in enchanting. He's good at it, and I can help him. So I can do the help action so he gets advantage. So we're like okay at enchanting, but we're not good at crafting at all. So we usually fail the crafting or just get like a base crafting. So what happens is, if you fail the crafting, you get a bad effect, which is off a table. And we've had so many cursed items. Like for instance, our bag of holding, we did good for rolling the crafting, where the bag of holding was very pretty, like it was beautiful, and you didn't want to let it go. You wanted to keep it with you always, which I don't actually remember. That almost sounds like a curse, but it was something so you couldn't drop it, and it was meant for more like if you had like a sword or something, basically, so like it can't be dropped, basically, which is a boon for that. But the problem with that is the curse that was placed on it was that it makes you say every single thought in your head. So basically it makes you give up state secrets and you don't want to let it go. Like you will fight to keep it. So we basically made like the most powerful political weapon in the entire game accidentally. And it belonged to our bard. So we basically had to wait until he was sleeping. We had to put our strongest character to sit on him. I'm priming with the Milk Hydrogrip primer, which I am trying to pan because I don't know if you can see, but it's starting to get that hazy look, like it's starting to go bad, because this is clean beauty, which is unfortunate. But anyway, so we had to have our strongest player sit on him and physically take the bag away from him while he was sleeping so he wouldn't fight. And they like, the DM had them roll against each other to see if it was successful to take the bag away, and it was. And they had to use Mage Hand to take the bag away, so that way the person taking the bag wouldn't immediately just become the hoarder of the bag and also spill state secrets. Yeah, so once he got the bag away, basically we were like, okay, so what do we even do with this thing? Because like, we can't use it. So basically what we said was, we're gonna hold on to it in case we encounter a situation where like, we figured out like, maybe we might need to interrogate this Pale King guy at some point. So we're like, okay, we're gonna hold on to this, but we're gonna keep it where nobody can touch it. And we're only gonna put stuff in it using Mage Hand because we needed a bag of holding and we used up our aberration flesh. And we don't want to go fight gibbering maws anymore, which is where we got the aberration flush, because we can't risk somebody turning into a gibbering maw. So that's where that landed. But yeah, like at one point, my first crossbow I made, it was, it had the curse where anybody looking at you would see a horrible zombie and you would smell and they would be terrified of you. And you could throw away the crossbow and the effect would still last for like days after. And we were like, you can't have that, like, because I'm the high charisma character and I'm the one that has to talk to people, and like it gave me disadvantage on all of my charisma rolls, and it's like, we can't have that for the character who has to talk to people. So I tried to disenchant it, which is the thing you can do. You can disenchant stuff. My rolls, I statistically roll very badly. I don't know if it's my dice or I just have terrible luck, but you can roll so badly that your item explodes and you lose the item, and I did that. I rolled so bad the item exploded. And I like took damage and I lost the item and it was a whole thing. I'm just mixing Fenty Eaze drops in shade 1 with Haus Labs foundation in shade 030. Mixing them together on my little thing and slathering it all over my face. And then I'm gonna blend it in with a sponge. And I put a lot on because I have a lot of sins to hide. But yeah, so that happened. So we have quickly learned that disenchanting things is probably a bad idea. At least we shouldn't let me do it. So in future rolls, I have not been the one disenchanting things. And every time that it is an option, I do not enchant things because I roll terribly. I am not allowed to roll for enchantments. Actually, our bard, who unfortunately is not gonna be in our campaign anymore because he got a job. This campaign is during the day, and all of us except him now are unemployed currently. We all worked together and we all got unemployed the same day, and it was like our DM wanted to get together and just have a day where we all like see people and just have like a nice day. So he got a job outside of our industry, unfortunately, but he needed money, so he took the first job that he was offered. So he's not playing with us anymore, which is unfortunate because he is now our high intelligence character because he created through the crafting system, I forget what it was. It's something, I think it's his crossbow, but it's basically like, it got a boon on it that gave him the highest intelligence possible. So his int is 20 currently, which has been useful for crafting. It's also been useful for him for rolling for like saves for a lot of the stuff we've been doing. And my int and wisdom for James, I specifically created as low as possible because James from Team Rocket is kind of dumb. I made him high charisma, low int, low wisdom. Also low strength. Like James from Team Rocket. I am playing I made a Tanuki character, which is not accurate to James from Team Rocket, but I was looking through the new characters out of Heliana's, and I picked a Tanuki because it gave me some interesting stuff to start with because of the character class. And I like that it gave me disguise self, because James can disguise self. If you ever watch Pokemon anime, I thought that was funny. And also I wanted to climb speed, and also I wanted to just be not a human character because honestly, playing as a human in D&D is kind of boring. It's way more fun to pick one of the interesting character classes, in my opinion. I always pick a non-human character. Oh, I'll mention it in a different D&D video, but I actually changed my character class from my other campaign. My DM got a new book, and of like random races you can be, and he was like, hey, I know you love mimics, do you want to be a mimic? Just say you were a mimic the whole time. And I'm like, yes. So my new character class in my other campaign is now a mimic, so that's fun. Oh yeah, I used Haus Labs concealer in the shade 04, which weirdly is a good match for me, but the foundation that this is supposed to match does not match me, so I don't know. Haus Labs foundations are weird, their colors. Like, the shade 030 is supposedly for olive skin tones, but it didn't used to be for olive skin tones. It used to just be a cool toned, except their tones are backwards, so it was a warm toned foundation. But then they retroactively were like, olive toned people love this, so we'll make it olive toned. It's just a yellow foundation that works for olive skin tones, so. And I am a fair olive skin tone, but this phone, this Pixel phone, makes me look red. And I'm not the only one, because I've seen posts in the olive subreddits of Reddit say that their Pixel phones make them look red too, so it's not just me. But anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah. So I'm gonna take this. This is discontinued. This is the Fenty Pro Filter powder in lavender. Wow, that just leaked everywhere. Okay. Thank you. Don't turn it upside down, I guess. But I'm gonna use this under my eyes. I don't know if lavender powder does anything, but I got it because it's so light. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it's so light. It does brighten my under eyes, which is what I wanted, because I can't, finding a concealer, well, when I bought this, finding a concealer that was light enough to actually brighten my under eyes was impossible. I have since gotten a tan, because I no longer live in my dungeon condo. So finding a concealer that's light enough now is possible, but back when I bought this and my foundation shade was Haus Labs 015, wasn't possible because everything that was supposed to be brightening was just my skin tone. So I'm gonna powder also with, this is an OG, this is the number 7 Lift and Luminate, like the original formula. They have reformulated a few times, I think, since I hoarded these, so I don't know what number of formulation they're on. I don't know if they went back to this original formula. I don't know. I just know that they've reformulated, I think, at least twice since I bought this. And I don't think it looks like this anymore. This is in the shade Light. And when I originally bought this, it was too dark for me. It would darken my foundations, and now it's fine because I got a tan. But I'm trying to use that up. Here, I'll actually show you. I'm almost done with it. Like, I have that much left. I have one more of these. But I think before I switch to that, I have another loose powder I need to use. And since I got tan, I think I can actually use that powder. So I'm going to try to use that up. But anyway, so yeah, at the point we're at, we just defeated the Train Master, which the whole thing was kind of funny because the universe we're in, we don't know what trains are. Like, no one in that universe knows what a train is. I'm just going to contour with the Sephora Collection contour stick in Fairlight. So we don't know what a train is, but one of the NPCs gives you a piece of paper with a drawing of a train. So we spent a lot of time making jokes about, like, what is this thing we're on, and, like, just, like, train jokes. We made a lot of train jokes, and, like, trying to say train without saying train, because we don't know what trains are. So the funny thing is, so basically the premise of this encounter is you are on a train, and the people of your town that you've created, like, we created a town of, like, survivors, and they're all living there, and they all fall asleep into a magical sleep, and you hook up with the wizard who lives nearby, and he helps you go into a lucid dreaming sleep. And you go on this train and you meet these people, and they're all, like, magically enchanted to think specific things. Like, one of them is knitting a sweater for her grandson. So you go up to him and she's like, "Oh, my grandson." And so, like, one of our players is I think he's a gnome. Yeah, so he's small enough to fit the sweater, so he takes the sweater and puts it on, and he gets a free sweater, basically. Which is a running theme in all of our campaigns. At least somebody gets a free sweater from an NPC. In one of our other campaigns, a friend of ours got, like, a sweater from, I don't remember who it was, but it was like he was like a 3-headed Hydra, and he got a sweater from a dragon. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, so one of them is, like, knitting a sweater for her grandson, and basically you have to convince them that what they're seeing is not real in order for them to wake up. So we have to do that, but the problem is we're trolls. So one of them, their whole thing is, "Oh no, I've lost my ticket." So our druid says, "Welp, you're not allowed on the train," and grapples that NPC and throws them off the train. And we have no idea what that does, because the goal is to make them disappear and get off the train. and not just yeet them off the train. Okay, I'm gonna bronze with my Maybelline City Bronzer. That becomes a running theme during this entire encounter. He encounters a very angry set of dwarves. They're like union members fighting like some corpos. So he picks one up and gives him a swirly to try to wake him up, and it eventually works. Like, he eventually convinces him that it's all a dream, so he disappears. But as that's going on, the angry thing controlling the brain realizes we're there, and makes all of us see each other and the friendly NPCs as enemies. So the two people who are grappling, which it's not just our druid, it's also our monk. He's been grappling people because they don't want to fight anything. They just want to, you know, make people wake up. So they grapple basically anyone they can see within reaching distance and throw them off the train, which leads to the monk grappling our druid and throwing him off the train. And we end up with like multiple NPCs just thrown off the train, which is not great. Later has consequences. I am a little too contoured, but that's okay. Whatever. That's a lot. We're just gonna live our lives. Yeah. Oh, I totally forgot to say, I used the NYX Buttermilk Bronzer in Buttercup as blush. It's a bronzer, but on me, it's a blush. Also, apparently, I heard they discontinued these, and these aren't available, like, some of these shades aren't available on their website anymore. I don't know why they would discontinue, like, a bunch of these. I don't know if they're bringing them back or not. I don't know. But yeah, this is supposed to be the lightest shade, but it says light neutral. This is not fair skin friendly. I have to use a very fluffy brush and a light hand, and it's pretty dark on me, so. The train ends up pulling into a station, right? And our druid, who is our big damage dealer, has been thrown off the train and finds himself off in, like, just... he's not in the ether, because it's like, there is a world, so he didn't die, right? So we find out from throwing him off that, like, these people are just kind of, like, off in, like, a world. And he had to roll for damage to see how much damage he took, but he didn't die. So we were hopeful that the people that got yeeted off didn't die, but we were like, are they gonna wake up? We don't know. We get to this, like, train station, and we're like, oh, there's a conductor, and it's just the conductor, which is sus. So I go up to the conductor, and I'm just like, hey man, what's up? And he summons aberrations, because of course he summons aberrations. Basically, it's the same thing as the fight with the gibbering maws, which is they warp reality. Oh, I'm taking Bella Beauty Bar Oracle highlighter palette, and I'm using the shade and the shade, and this is like a pinky silver color, and this is like a pinky yellow color, and I'm just putting that on my cheeks. But yeah, so he summons aberrations, and we have to fight them, and it's like the gibbering maws all over again, where reality is bending around us, and we have to do saving rolls, or we're like terrified and stuff. But fortunately, it's not as bad. Like, we're not going to turn into gibbering maws, because this is, I think, set more for our level, but also I don't remember. But I think it's like we could have turned into gibbering maws, but fortunately, we all saved our rolls, which is good. But yeah, and then the conductor turns into this like huge eyeball monster man, and like a bunch of us are way far away from him because we're like, we're not touching that, but he still manages to hit us because he has insane reach with his like legendary monster eyeball powers. Mind you, this encounter is probably set up for like level 10 characters and level 4, but like so many of us are OP. Mostly the monk and the druid are OP. In this encounter, I still had my Pokemon. I still had Meowth because the aberration came after, where I lost him to the gibbering maw. I won him from the Pale King, technically, but I didn't talk to the Pale King. It was his advisor who lives in the city. I won a slime and a skull, so I was using him. And the slime and the skull is basically just like another pet that I can summon twice a day, and it just functions like the same as my Pokemon, basically. So I was using those two. So it was those two plus the monk plus the druid being like the up there damage dealers, and this thing was like teleporting around to get away from us. And it had like, oh, guys, I don't know if you can see, I just hit pan on that. Hell yeah. But yeah, so like it kept, that thing hit for a lot of damage too. Like I think I have like 48 hit points, and that thing was hitting for like at least 10 points of damage each time, if not more. Like 10 was on the low end, and then it was taking legendary actions constantly, so we were taking a lot of damage. Our monk went down. I think our monk and our druid went down multiple times. But our bard has healing, which losing him is gonna suck because he's our healer. He's a bard with the college of, I forget what it is, but he's basically like a food themed bard. He like cooks stuff. Losing him is gonna suck. He's our healer, so we're gonna have to figure that out. I'm taking that dark red shade and I'm just deepening. So he was like constantly healing us, constantly reviving. Like I think that character, no, that character doesn't have revive spells. It's my other character that has revive spells. But we managed to beat him, which was cool. Now I'm just blending, and I used too much of the blending shade. I know, I have to go back over that. Ow. I stabbed myself in the eye with a brush. But when we beat him, we came back to, like in the place where we went to sleep, and only some of the people were awake. And we realized that the people who were not awake were the people who got yeeted off the train. So yeeting people off the train did not wake them up. Whoops. I forget, there was a way we woke them up. Oh yeah, but they were no longer in a magical sleep. So we used, I forget what it was, I think we used like minor restoration or something on them, and then they woke up. Like we got that gotcha. But yeah, yeeting them off the train was a poor choice. So fortunately, we weren't able to lose our town people because we got the gotcha where we could just use a restoration healing spell on them and they were fine, but oops. All right, I'm gonna take this shade, which is a different shade, different sparkly shade. Actually, I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna use my finger. And I'm gonna put that in the inner corner and bring it down. And I'm just gonna let my eye bags be sparkly, because my finger is really big compared to my face. So yeah, we did that. Yeah, the crafting in that system is really cool. Like, our bard in that campaign, he actually bought the Heliana's book specifically for the crafting system and sold his other crafting books because he liked it so much. Because it's really cool. Because like the boons and the bad effects are really fun. I think I'm also gonna take a shimmer, that specific shimmer, and put it in my brow bone. I want more sparkles. You can never be too sparkly. Yeah, perfect. More sparkles. All right, so I think I'm done with this palette. That's so cool. I hit pan. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if I'm holding this correctly, but I hit pan. Hell yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to put NYX Epic Wear eyeliner in Dusty Mauve in my waterline. I'm going to put the NYX Epic Ink liner as like a wing, like so. I'm gonna put BadGal Bang mascara on my lashes. It's the only black mascara I have, and I want black mascara. I think with the Epic liner, I'm also gonna draw hearts like here, because I did that the other day and it was really cute. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. And I can sort of talk while I do that, so. Yeah, so that's one of the encounters, the train station guy that we did. We also did, I talked a little bit about it, we killed the, what's her name? The Veiled Lady. We killed the Veiled Lady. That was the first big encounter we did. And she is the mushroom woman who lives in the I don't think it's called the Underdark there, but the Underdark is just it's just like the big name for the underneath of the world in D&D, but I forget what the name of the area is. It might just be the Underdark, I forget, but we killed her, and I don't know if anything really like amusing happened when we killed her. It was a while ago now, but fighting her, she was like the big bad for the longest time because like all her mushroom people were all over. She honestly wasn't that hard to kill because like we were a little OP and we like super over prepared to go fight her. Like we made sure we had all our +1 weapons. We made sure that we had like we got like enchantments and stuff for our weapons that were like specifically good against the mushroom people, so we did extra damage, which was useful for that, but it's not really useful for the rest of the campaign because now we're fighting kaiju. But It's useful for that. But yeah, fighting her, she had like some ads that were a former party of explorers that went to fight her and they lost, and there was like a mage and a ranged guy and a sword guy, and honestly, it wasn't that hard. I'm gonna do a wing. My wings are never very great. My eyes are partially hooded. I don't have a lot of space, which is why I drag everything up so high. Also, my eyes are uneven. I've said it in other videos, but one of my eyes is lower than the other. And it's really noticeable when I'm editing my videos and I'm like showing my eye look off to the camera. I can really see how uneven my eyes are based on how the eyeshadow looks and just how my eyebrows look, because my eyebrows look uneven. So yeah, that's another reason why my wings are never quite even. My eyes are uneven. I'm sure we did silly things, but I don't remember. That was a while ago. And then we fought the giant mimic house. So it's not like part of the overarching story, but it was just like a random encounter we had. Like you come to a clearing and there's like this really sus inn where you see footsteps going towards the inn at all angles and they just disappear right up against it. And like there's sounds of merriment and fun coming from the inn, but you don't see anything inside the inn if you go up and look into the windows. So all of us except one person went into the inn because we were like, this is hella sus. Turns out it was a mimic. The whole thing was a mimic. But inside were other mimics, like baby mimics, but they weren't babies, they were just like normal size mimics. So we had to fight off mimics, and it was really fun because you're inside a mimic, right? And it's warping reality around you. And like the whole fight was really fun. Like at one point, like multiple points, you have to do saves to not be like thrown out of the world, and the world is the mimic, and you have to, at one point everything like shrinks down to like miniature size, which is really fun. And it was really interesting because one of our druid had Moonbeam up, and Moonbeam was fun because it reveals a thing's true form. So it turned the inside of the inn from looking like an inn to looking like a purpley mass of grossness, which is what a mimic looks like. But then Moonbeam was huge and we were all tiny, which is how we knew we all shrunk. And like from the perspective of our player friend who was outside, nothing had changed. So he knew stuff was going on. So he was attacking the house. And every time he landed a hit on the house, we had to do a save for being thrown out of the house and taking damage. Yeah, this mascara. Oh, I didn't do my little hearts. Let's do my little hearts. Let's see if I can do little hearts. All right, this is hard. This jacket is a little small, a little constricting. There, little heart. It's a little big. It's a little big little heart. There, another big little heart. It's a weird looking heart. It's a little, there. Those are kind of big hearts, but they're cute. Cute. Okay, I think I'm gonna do my brows, and I'm gonna use this Huda palette again. I'm just gonna use this shade, this pink shade again. Just do pink brows. My brows they're getting a little dark. I bleached them. I've been big on bleach brows lately. I don't know why. I just like them. Oh, you're being powdery. Don't be powdery. So yeah, we did that, and I think those are the big ones we've got. My DM gave me the posters that came with Heliana's that match those fights, and those are the 3 he gave me. So I think those are the big ones we've done so far. But the mimic one was really fun. It was really interesting. Fun fact, I applied to work for Wizards of the Coast, which is the company that does D&D. They also do Magic the Gathering. And I applied for both a Magic the Gathering position and a D&D position, and I heard back about neither, so they don't like me. Which is fair. The Magic the Gathering one, I didn't realize, because their listings they post on LinkedIn, and they say they're remote listings, which they're not, because you fill out the whole application and you get to the very bottom and it says, this is a hybrid position, will you be willing to move? And I filled out that whole application assuming it was remote, and then I was just like, God damn it. So I said no and sent the application in, And then I've just been ignoring all their LinkedIn posts because, like, I'll click on them if they have new ones and scroll all the way to the bottom and see that and be mad and exit out. But then they had another application that specifically said remote, and when I filled it out, it was remote, and it was a contract position. And I applied to that, and I didn't hear back, so I'm not good enough for them apparently, but that's fine. I'm assuming they get thousands of applications because it's D&D and Magic, so there's just not enough jobs and too many people in the games industry right now. Alright, I have pink eyebrows. I also want to do some glitter in my eyebrows, so we're gonna do that. So, glitter. Glitterly Obsessed by Colourpop, the pink one. This is from Sailor Moon. I'm not a Sailor Moon stan. You know, when I was a kid, it was Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball Z, and I didn't watch either. I eventually, this is not D&D, this is way off topic, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway, whatever. Eventually, when Adult Swim became a thing and they started playing anime, I watched Inuyasha. That was my thing. I loved Inuyasha. I just got glitter on myself. I gotta lean more. Sorry if I'm out of frame. I'm leaning to accommodate putting glitter on my vanity and not on myself. Yeah, I was an Inuyasha kid. I loved Inuyasha, and if you watch Inuyasha as an adult, Inuyasha is so annoying because he just fucking, I swear to God, the amount of times he screams Kagome is just obnoxious. And I mean it's a fun show, and if you're a teenager / preteen, it's great. It is great. So Inuyasha was my jam. And I made one of my, I'm not friends with her anymore, but I had a friend who, she started school at my high school when I was a freshman, and I think she was a sophomore. And we bonded over Inuyasha, because she wrote Inuyasha fanfic. She wrote Inuyasha Kagome fanfic. So yeah, that's my anime origin, Inuyasha. Love me some Inuyasha. My eye is watering. I don't know why. I think it's the winter, but it waters like right here, and then it fucks up my eyeshadow and it pisses me off. But my eyes have been watery lately. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, maybe your makeup's old. And that's fair. Maybe my makeup is old, but it doesn't happen every single time I use the makeup, so it's not the makeup. I think it's just, it's dry because it's winter and my eyes are watery. So I'm gonna put that away. So I have glitter brows now. Glitter brows. I kind of, you know, actually, I'm gonna pull the glitter back out and I'm gonna do glitter freckles because I did glitter freckles the other day and glitter freckles are really cute. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of glitter off the top here and just, oh, that might be too much glitter. Be too much glitter. Glitter freckles, oh. Yeah, that's too much glitter, but I mean, whatever. Yeah, it's too much glitter, but you know what? That's not too much glitter because there's no such thing as too much glitter, okay? There's no such thing as too much glitter. You're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do, okay? Hold, I need to wash my hands. I'm covered in glitter. Okay, now that I have deglittered, yeah, I'm very glittery. That's awesome. Okay, normally I only do glitter freckles or glitter brows, but it is Valentine's Day, and we're going glittery. Okay, so I've done that. I need to draw my freckle. Well, it's not a freckle, it's a beauty mark, because I have a beauty mark. I don't know if you can see it on camera until I draw it in. I've only recently started drawing it in to embrace it. I draw it in with my, I'll show you. This is my NYX Lift and Snatch in Ash Brown. I use that one because it's a little less dark, looks a little more natural. My natural color of this is a very light brown, but I color it in so it stands out more, and I think it's really cute. And I'm not gonna draw on fake beauty marks. I have a real one, so I decided I wanted to embrace it, because why not? That one's it's a little sloppy today, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm very glittery. I got all the sparklies. I want to add rhinestones too. Let's add some rhinestones. Let's go all in. I got, right on top, pink rhinestones. I got these from Amazon. So we'll just add some of these. Oh yeah, we discovered what killed our ships. Why we were shipwrecked. Because we were talking to, there was a tsunami. So the last thing that happened in our last session was there was a tsunami, which was really funny because it was part of us preparing to go on our journey to do the kaiju thing, and a tsunami, like there was an earthquake like one morning, and one of our players can fly, So he flew up and he saw the water recede. And of course, I'm like, oh no, a tsunami. And then I'm like, wait, do our characters know what a tsunami is? Because, like, in meta, like, you know, in like us as people, we know what a tsunami means, but like, do our characters know what a tsunami means? Right? Do they understand that's a sign of a tsunami? So we rolled for it, and yes, we know it's a tsunami. So fortunately, we rolled and we knew what it meant, so we didn't all fucking die. So we dealt with that. Basically, we made one of our characters found a armor that gave water breathing and swimming and stuff, so he was totally fine. It's our bard who's leaving us. But so we dealt with that. But basically, the culmination of that is jellyfish people from below the sea came to us, and they were like, "Hey, yo, so you know what happened to your ships? It was sea monsters." And I don't know if we're gonna deal with the sea monster or not, because like we can't breathe. Only one of us can breathe underwater. And like I have the ability to give myself that, but I don't have the ability to give it to everybody for long enough to kill sea monsters. So we're dealing with that. Okay, so for my lips, I'm gonna go pink. I thought about going black because I like black lips, but I think I'm gonna use this because I haven't used this in a really long time. I used it once for a very similar look to this. So I'm gonna use that again. Also, I have 2 of these, so I need to use them. So this is the IRL Filter Finish Lip Definer by Revolution Beauty. It's in Shy Nude. Sorry, it's shiny. And then this is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss with the unfortunate name of Ice. And it's basically a clear pink. So I'm gonna fill in my whole lips with this and then cover it with this. And I should also note for the D&D campaign I'm doing for Heliana's, our DM told us that basically the way the campaign technically works is you're basically you're supposed to be in like a flying tavern, and it works very much like Monster Hunter where you just pick fights off a board and go do them, but we don't do that. He actually set us up with like a story and has been just playing the story, and we've just been doing that. So the way that we're doing Heliana's is probably different than the way other people will do Heliana's. So with like if I do random stories and talk about things that we're doing, and you want to play Heliana's, it'll probably be different, just FYI. And this turns out a much brighter pink than I was expecting when I bought it, because when I swatched it in Ulta, in the Ulta lighting, it didn't look as bright. But Ulta lighting, as we all know, is a lie. My Ulta has windows, because both of them are standalone. They're not in malls or anything, so they have windows. But it's also got the horrible fluorescent lighting too, which skews things. Although, I will say, shout out to Ulta, because it was thanks to an Ulta employee that I stopped buying cool toned foundation, because I would go places and everybody would be like, oh, you're cool toned, because I have red, especially before, it's not so much now, but I had redness in my face because like I'm fair skinned and I suffer with redness. So people would be like, you're cool toned, but I'm not, especially when I was really pale, like really, really fair. Like when I was Haus 015, I really struggled with redness, but the more tan I get, the less red I am. But an Ulta employee looked at my neck, which doesn't have redness, and she pulled me over to the windows and was like, oh, you're really yellow. So, and then she was like, try this foundation. And she got me, she was like, try neutral foundations that everybody says are too yellow. Try those. And I started doing that, and stuff actually matched me. And I was just doing that. And I discovered that's a trick that olive people use. So I started trying olive foundations, and I put on an olive foundation, and I was just like, oh wait, it matches. What? So that's how I ended up figuring out I'm olive. I have actually in my stash, I haven't been using it because I'm trying to pan that Haus Labs concealer, but I have a fair neutral concealer that's like the perfect shade for me. It's like the best concealer shade I've ever had. That looks. Let me take down my hair, do my hair quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is my hair. It's a little, don't look at it. It's It's a little messy. So I decided for fragrance of the day is going to be YSL Black Opium Black. That wasn't on there very good. YSL Black Opium, what is this, red, I think? The cherry one. So, put it on. I know, I've heard people say you're not supposed to do this, but whatever. I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. That's how you put perfume on. Don't at me. So yeah, this is the completed look. And I am in a crop top and a denim jacket today because it is going to be 50 degrees out today, which is shorts weather where I live. So this, yeah, I hope you had fun. This was kind of rambly and all over the place. I haven't had this session in 2 weeks because I was out for surgery, and driving all the way over there, especially because those roads are crazy bumpy and it hurts. So hopefully this next coming Thursday I'll have another session and then I can talk about that, and it'll be less chaotic. Also, I did a session with my Strixhaven crew and I can talk about that in a separate video, or maybe I can combine them into one video. Probably combine them into one video because it's not a lot of content, so I'll just do both. So yeah, if you like this, let me know down below. I'm gonna keep doing them regardless because I think this is fun. I like talking about D&D. So yeah, if you enjoy this content, give me a like, give me a subscribe, or not, it's okay, I'm just doing it for fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.